Jealousy in the air tonight, I can tell. Like, what? Like, yo, he a savage when it comes to beefing with people. That's crazy to me. Like, Drake be saying some wild shit when he beefing with people, yo. He sent out so many subliminal shots to so many people. Like, we don't even know about half of them. My man said, "Jealousy in the air tonight, I can tell." That's wild. That's wild. What else did he say? What was the next line in that song? I never know what he says after that. What does he say after that? Um, Let me see. I'm gonna look it up right now. What song is that? Connect. Is it Connect? Language. Language. Okay. We're gonna search up Drake language and see what the next line in that song was. Drake language. Check all. Bro said, "Jealousy in the air tonight, I can tell. I will never. I will never understand that, but oh well. I will never understand that, but oh well. Been ready, it's real. I don't know about you. She just wanna smoke and fuck. I said, girl, that's all that we do. Okay, now you're talking my language. Now you're talking my language. Yeah, yeah. He went crazy on that. Indoor Voices podcast. Um, back again, back again. I actually bought a new mug. I'm sipping my tea again. I bought a new mug, but unfortunately, I did not grab it before like it was time to shoot. So yeah, so I have to use this one for today. But next week I'll have a brand new mug for you guys. I like it. I like it a lot. It's crazy, yo. I was thinking about like um I was just thinking about I Am Legend and how like similar that movie, I like the parallel between that movie and the time that we're living in right now is pretty like scary. Like the time that we could potentially be living in. I often think about that movie as like, that's where we're going. Like it, like at all the apocalypse movies that have transpired over the years, like 2012, I didn't think that was going to happen. Realistically, like 2012 was the year I graduated high school, and I just didn't think that was going to happen. Honestly, everybody was afraid of that. Just like Y2J back in 2000, like what the internet, like the all the computers were gonna blow up or something, and we were gonna be in darkness, or the world was gonna crash, or whatever. I didn't believe that. The Day After Tomorrow was another good one, which like basically a tsunami flooded the planet, or damn near flooded the planet. They stopped it from happening, but like it was close. I didn't think any of that stuff was going to happen. But I Am Legend, for some reason, the most unrealistic movie out of all the ones I just named. Excuse me. That's the one that I always felt like, yeah, that's our future. Um, it's crazy because in that movie they basically found the cure for cancer, right? Um, Emily Blunt or nah, that's not Emily Blunt. Emma Thompson. Emma Thompson was at the beginning of the movie. She was on the TV, and they were interviewing her like on the news, and basically she was a doctor telling the world that they found the cure for cancer. And then it just cuts to, and it says 3 years later, and it's like New York City, and like it's post-apocalyptic. All the cars are just in the street. There's you know, the flowers and trees and plant life are just growing through the concrete and everything, and there's animals roaming like Manhattan and shit. Like there was lions and shit. Like I don't know, man. I feel like that was when I saw that movie, and even to this day, more than ever, I'm like, yo, that's where we're headed, and I just want to be like, uh, Will Smith when that goes down, man. I'm gonna just be doing pull-ups and hitting the treadmill and watching Shrek and just chilling with my little dog and my rifle, just waiting in my man cave until some shit pop off, until somebody shows up to save the day. Uh, I'm be working on that. He was working on that cure. He definitely was working. He found the cure. Actually, he had the cure, but obviously we didn't get to see how that played out. But and obviously he died in the original ending that they released, which I hate that ending. There is an alternate ending that I have a DVD that I got years ago of I Am Legend with the alternate ending on it. And, for those of you who haven't seen the alternate ending, I will gladly spoil it for you because that movie is almost a decade old. So if you haven't seen it by now, that's your fault. But the alternate ending is basically uh yeah, so instead of, at the end he's like uh in the room, like sealed off with the glass, and then all the monsters are on the other side. He's like banging his head on the glass trying to get in, and Will Smith's character is like, calm down, I can save you, like calm down, and then I think at some moment the main monster or zombie or whatever you want to call him, he notices that I think he notices that his girlfriend, because the monster that Will Smith was working on was like, I think his girlfriend or something like that. It was his girlfriend or his wife or whatever, whatever the situation is. His like zombie bae or whatever. So Will Smith was working on her, and he just wanted his girl back, so he was going crazy. That's why he really wanted Will Smith, because he really took his girl. But um, Will Smith was working on her, and then I think he noticed that she was healing. They looked at her on the table, and she looked like she was reverting back into a human. Like she was getting, like, her skin pigmentation was like sort of going back to a white, human sort of color. Um, and like some of her features, and I think her hair was growing back or something. I don't know. But she was starting to look like she was healing, and I think the monster saw that, and then he stopped, and then basically they like, you know, uh, basically made up, and they didn't kill Will Smith. He doesn't die, basically. Is what happens. Will Smith does not die in the alternate ending. They live happily ever after. He finds the cure and heals all the people. Eventually, you would hope so. And then he's gonna be like basically the Lord Savior of the universe. I mean, like, I always want to know, like, what happens, like, in a situation like that when you single handedly save the planet from extinction. You resurrect the planet. All those people turned into zombies, and he's gonna go on to resurrect the planet and bring everybody back to life, or not bring everybody back to life. I'm sorry, but like, um, heal all the people that were, zombified, or turned into mutants, basically. Um, like, where does Will Smith go from there? Like, does he have to still live a normal life? Does he still pay for things? I would want to be like God. Like, I'm the Lord of the universe. Like, I'm Thanos or some shit out here. Like, everybody bow down to me. Like, I saved humanity. Shit, I wouldn't want to brag about it. I wouldn't brag about it, but like, I feel like I should get special treatment. I should no longer be a normal civilian doing normal civilian things. I should be able to cut through traffic. I should be able to cut every line. I should be able to get shit for free. I should be able to choose what house I could live in and live there rent free for the rest of my life. I saved humanity. Like, you guys owe me everything, and I'm gonna get everything. That would be my philosophy if that was the case. I mean, like, you don't go back from that. I'm sorry. I cannot go back to living a normal life once I save the universe or humanity. I just can't do it. I refuse to do it. Um, Indoor Voices podcast. Um, yeah, this quarantine situation is crazy. Still going on. Still going on. Yeah, man. By the way, don't ask me about Friends. I know you guys see this little Friends hoodie. It's nice. I do like it. Thank you for any future compliments on this hoodie. Uh, I've never watched Friends, so if you want to talk about Friends to me, please don't hit me up about Friends because I've never seen it. I don't plan on watching it. That's just where I'm at, man. That was not one of my. That was not. Friends wasn't in my sitcom rotation. What channel did that come on? Friends came on like TBS or something, right? I don't know what channel it came on. Fox, TBS. A channel that I didn't watch. I didn't watch this show. But it is a nice hoodie. I like the aesthetic, so and I thank you in advance. Um yeah, so I've been drawing a lot of parallels to things lately because of this corona situation, because of the quarantine. I've been, reflecting on life as a whole and just thinking like basically like, damn, life would be pretty good if I was Will Smith and I found the cure to the coronavirus and I single-handedly saved humanity. If that was me, um, I don't know, man. You guys wouldn't be able to tell me anything. I would. I mean, shit. I'm already a very confident individual, if you couldn't tell by now. But you give me like an achievement like that. If I was able to unlock some sort of great achievement like that on top of who I already am, um, I don't know what to say, man. It would be you've created a monster. Don't ever let me be the reason why humanity still exists. I'm telling you guys right now. If humanity was on the brink of extinction and I was the only person that could save the day, please stop me. Don't let it happen. I don't know how to handle that much type of clout. That level of clout would destroy me from within. I would go nuts. That's a massive level of not only was I the only person that was able to find a cure, but I survived for 3 years by myself and found the cure on my own. Like I was by myself this whole time. It's not even like, when like certain artists have a hit song and they could say that they put it out by themselves, they did it by themselves. But like nothing is really by yourself because you still have a producer, an engineer. You have maybe somebody helped you write it. If somebody didn't help you write it, that's fine. But like you still have other people in the creative process. It's rarely, it's rare when like a hit song just falls out of the sky for you and you just do it without any help. You need help somewhere. You'll need help producing it, mixing it, mastering it, uh, recording it, writing it, getting it on the radio, getting it played, getting it listened to. Somebody's going to help you. So nothing is done on your own. But me saving humanity, like in the movie I Am Legend, the way Will Smith did, that shit is he did it 100% on his own, man. It was just him and his little dog that kept him sane. That was the only thing that kept him sane was that dog. So I guess the dog played a part too, because I don't think he would have got through the 3 years if he didn't have somebody to talk to. That's why he was talking to the mannequins in the stores and stuff like that, because he needed that. It's like The Sims, Like when you play The Sims, you have like your energy bar, like your energy meter, your hygiene meter, your hunger meter, and you got the social meter, and you got to keep all these things up for your sim to stay sane and stay alive, basically. And us as humans, we need all those things in real life. So, he was able to feed himself, of course. He's able to eat. You're able to sleep. You're able to have fun by yourself. You can stimulate your mind and have fun. You can play a game by yourself. You can, read a book or something. I don't know, whatever it is that you do to have fun. But the social aspect is the part that was taken away from him. That was really hard to cope with. So him having that dog really saved his life because uh, being by yourself in the world, basically in the whole world, you're by yourself. There's nobody else here to talk to communicate with. You can't even walk down the street and just say hi and wave to a neighbor. There's nobody there. It's just you. So in that aspect, he would have went crazy. So the dog was his engineer basically. He made a hit single, and the dog was his producer that got him through it, that helped him get through that single. And you can't really put a price on that. Can't put a price on that at all. But I've been drawing a lot of parallels to a lot of things. And I believe that I believe that we make a lot of comparisons as humans. It's human nature. We always want to see what's the next this, what's the next that, who's the next this, who's the next that. Oh, he reminds me of him, she reminds me of him, he reminds me of her. We all like to make comparisons because it's just what we do. It's in our nature. And I think a comparison that I woke up with in my head today. I was listening to, so I would just give you the real quick little backstory, but I was listening to the Tootsie Slide, Drake's new song, right? The dance song. And and I was watching the video, and I was just really just taking it in, just listening to it. And not so much for the dance. I was really listening to like the words and stuff. I know it's a dance song, so there's not really a lot of lyrics in it, but I was just trying to listen to the song itself just to really hear it. But like, it was just interesting to me. It was an interesting study because Drake, I believe, is making a case for himself to be the modern day Michael Jackson. Drake is our Michael Jackson in our era. And, a lot of people won't agree with that. But before you just disagree, before you click away from the video and say, this nigga's crazy, I can just give you some similarities. I can give you some comparisons. So I was watching the Tootsie Slide video. And, Drake has the one line where he says, I can dance like Michael Jackson. And after that line, he has an ad lib in the background. If you listen to the song, he says, I can dance like Michael Jackson. I can give you satisfaction. And then, the rest of it goes on. Then he has an ad lib and it says, who's bad? And he's like referencing Michael Jackson's Bad. He said, who's bad? Referencing Michael Jackson. Talking about himself. He's saying he's bad like Michael Jackson. He said, I can dance like Michael Jackson. Now, don't take that lyric at face value. When Drake says, I can dance like Michael Jackson, he's not literally telling us that he can actually dance like Michael Jackson, because we know he can't. But he's saying that what he does, his ability to just exude greatness and just drop hits and just dance on top of the charts and just dance in front of us and be as great as he is and get the mass appeal from the fans. He can do that like Michael Jackson. He's saying his mass appeal, what he offers to us as an artist, as an entity, as an entertainer, as an icon. He's saying that I can dance like Michael Jackson. I can be as great as Michael Jackson. What Michael Jackson was in his time and how much greatness he showed, I can give you guys the same level of greatness in my generation at this time. That's what he's saying. And, Drake has had a lot of Michael Jackson lines over the years where he's taken little sort of not shots, but like sort of like he sent little coded messages out, over the years trying to tell us you know, how great he's going to be. And he's often compared himself to Michael Jackson a lot. A lot. A lot. He's compared himself to Michael Jackson a whole lot. So, I have a couple quotes from Drake. Right? So, he has this okay. So, the song Over that came out in 2010, right? Like, I know way too many people here right now. Y'all know that song, right? Drake says, and I quote, "About to go Thriller, Mike Jackson on these niggas. All I need's an all red jacket with some zippers." He's saying he's about to go Thriller. This was in 2010. Drake was telling us he's about to go Thriller. It means, I took that a couple ways. One, he's about to go Thriller, which if you take it like what Thriller actually was essentially a horror movie in a music video, and he's about to get scary. Like Drake, what he's about to do in the game is about to be really scary. He's about to go Thriller. But then you can also take it like he's about to go Thriller because Thriller was obviously a huge commercial success. The album itself was, Michael Jackson's biggest selling album. I think the biggest selling album in history, still to this day, if I'm not wrong. He says, "I'm about to go Thriller, Mike Jackson on these niggas." So he's about to basically just drop bombs on us, and it's about to get scary. He says, "All I need is the red jacket with some zippers." So, obviously that's Michael Jackson's, his style, the red jacket, zippers. That was in the Thriller music video. Drake then has another reference to Michael Jackson in the song Rico. Meek Mill's song Rico. With who's the guy? What's the guy's name, man? Why am I blanking on his name? Meek Mill. I'm so sorry. Yeah, it was actually Meek Mill's song. It dropped in 2015, and Drake said, I forgot what he said actually. Let's get out of that one. I completely fucked that up. But my point is, okay, let's get out of that. My point is, okay, yeah, okay. So Drake basically said, "The girl of your dreams, to me, she's probably not a challenge." No, Drake said, "I'm the king of pop." Okay, you're right. In the song Rico in 2015, Meek Mill's single Rico featuring Drake, that was like sort of their first collab, I think, after the back-to-back situation. They sort of patched it up. I don't think Rico came out in 2015, though. It doesn't feel like 2015 anyway. It feels like it came out just a couple years ago. But Drake said, "I'm the king of pop. I'm building Never Neverland." I'm the king of pop. I'm building Never Neverland. Right? He said that in, I guess, 2015. That's when they're telling me Rico came out. Fast forward to today. Drake built the Embassy, which is his house. That was in the Tootsie Slide music video. So, Michael Jackson had Never Neverland. Drake has the Embassy. They both have big fortresses. They both have big landscapes. Even when Drake put out the what was it? The Chicago freestyle with using the Jay-Z sample beat, the Song Cry beat. Drake does have an opening line in that freestyle where he says, "Michael Jackson shit, but the palace is not for Michael Jackson shit, but the palace is not for kids." Michael Jackson shit, but the palace is not for kids. I'm the king of pop. I'm building Never Never Land. So Drake is basically telling us that he's doing shit Michael Jackson was doing. He's building a palace. Michael Jackson shit, but the palace is not for kids. You know, obviously a reference to Michael Jackson clearly in the Never Never Land estates. Drake has the embassy. Now, Mike had classic hits. We know that. Drake has classic hits, and he's still making classic hits to this day. He's still giving us classics, still building his resume. And you have to factor in the fact that Drake has only been around for 10 years. His career is only 10 years old. Mike had decades where he put together a bunch of classics over decades. Mike started in 1968 at like 8 years old or whatever the case was. You know, the Jackson 5's debut album came out in 1968. Mike was the lead singer, obviously. But from 1968, that's the 60s, the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s. He had albums in the 2000s. Mike had the Invincible album with Butterflies and The Break of Dawn, all those songs. So he had 5 decades of hits. Mike had 50 years of hits. His whole life was hit music. Drake has only been in the mainstream for 10 years. And he's given us hits after hits. And he's going to continue to do that. You could take any 10-year period of Michael Jackson's career and it can rival, Drake can rival that in his 10 years. Just take any 10 years. From 68 to 78. From 78 to 88. From 88 to 89. I mean, you get what I'm saying. From 88 to 98. Doesn't matter. Drake has hits. Drake also has universal appeal. He appeals to kids. He appeals to adults. And he appeals to elders. All 3 generations can listen to the same Drake song and like it all the same and still get the same out of it. You can't do that with every artist. You know, you can't play Baby Shark for every, you know, you can't play you know, you can't play NBA Youngboy for grandma, grandpa and get them to vibe with it, you know, the way kids will or teenagers will, you know. Drake has universal appeal. He has songs. Hold On, We're Going Home. Hotline Bling. Find Your Love. I mean, the list goes on. Headlines. He has a lot of songs that all demographics can listen to. The kids, the teens, the adults, the elders. Everybody in the house can be satisfied listening to any particular Drake song. Michael Jackson obviously has the same. Neither were perfect, obviously. Neither of them, they both had their transgressions. Both have flaws. I don't want to get into their flaws because I'm not focusing on the negative. But they both, neither of them are perfect people. We understand that. Drake, and this is the one thing that trumps Drake over other people that I would compare to Michael Jackson. Drake has his own signature style. When you think of Michael Jackson, you think the hat, you know, the glove, the high waters, the socks, the shoes, the jacket, the silhouette. You know what Michael Jackson's silhouette looks like. You know. You know what that is. You know. If you see shit, you know what Michael Jackson's feet look like. If you see just a silhouette picture of just like somebody with some shoes with some wrinkled up socks and the toe and standing on their toes like this, you know that's Michael Jackson. Drake has a signature style, whether people like it or not. Drake, he has his own jackets. He likes wearing gloves. He has the fade with the waves, with the square hairline, with the beard. He's light skinned. That's his signature style, though. That's Drake. Like Drake's that people have. If you say Drake doesn't have a signature style, if you're saying what I'm saying isn't true, look at the last 10 years since Drake has came out. He's a trendsetter in the fact that people copy his style. People have copied Drake's look. I know I could go on Facebook and see about 20 to 30, probably like 50 guys who try to copy Drake's look, who try to look like Drake. Guys who are light skinned, brown skinned, who try to, get the same haircut and wear the same type of gear, Nike type of stuff, and just try to look like Drake. Drake has a style. He has a signature style. It's not as glamorous as the Michael Jackson signature style, but Drake has his own style. And they both started in a band. Drake started in Young Money. Michael Jackson started in the Jackson 5. Both started in a band, branched out, and became globally successful. Global success. Mike's first album by himself, off of the Motown record label. The Motown record label is the label that the Jackson 5 originally signed to. And their first album came out in 1968. It was Diana Ross Presents the Jackson 5. And that came out in 1968. Basically, a decade later, Mike was finally off of that label and put out his first album on Epic Records. That was his first, album outside of the Jackson 5, his first single. And that was entitled Off the Wall, 1979. Everybody knows Off the Wall. You know the story from there. Now, Drake's debut album came out in February 13th of 2009. And that was So Far Gone. It was technically a mixtape, but sound like an album. As he claims in one of the songs, he said, drop the mixtape, the shit sounded like an album. But that came out in February of 2009. And then the We Are Young Money album came out in December of 2009. That was Young Money's debut album, which featured, obviously, Drake, Lil Wayne, Nicki Minaj, Tyga, and a list of other artists who were signed to Young Money at the time. So, both of Drake's, so if you want to say Drake, Drake basically came out at the, because people are gonna try to penalize Drake for basically already being an adult when he came out versus Michael Jackson being a kid. But Drake's debut album was in 2009, and the Young Money debut album came out the same year. So Drake's start of his career was in 2009. And we're in 2020. So it's basically been a decade. 11 years. A decade. Michael Jackson spanned 50 years. Yes, he started as a kid, but he spanned 50 years. This is the kicker. Now, on the Billboard Hot 100, how many number one hits does everyone have on the Billboard Hot 100? Michael Jackson had 13 Billboard Hot 100 hits. 13. In a 50-year career. That includes Jackson 5 hits. That's 13 altogether in 50 years, including Jackson 5. Drake has 6. In a decade, Drake has 6 number one hits on the Billboard Hot 100. Grammys. Michael Jackson has 13 Grammys. He has 13 Hot 100 Billboard hits, 13 Grammys. Some of his Grammys he got were, he got a Grammy, I think, the greatest artist of all time. He got that award, and like the, most highest selling artist. He got 2 like lifetime achievement Grammy awards, basically. But overall, Michael Jackson has 13 Grammys. Drake has 4 Grammys. I want to clarify this again. In a decade's time, Drake has 4 Grammys. Michael Jackson has 13 in 50 years. And last but not least, well, it's not the last thing, but one of the last things is they both have signature dance moves. Now, we know Michael Jackson. You can name on your hand all the Michael Jackson signature dance moves off the top of your head. Like, go, name 3 Michael Jackson signature dance moves. The moonwalk, the lean from the Smooth Criminal video, and the kick. The kick. I kick with my left leg because I'm lefty. I'm retarded. But the kick. Those are just 3. Drake. He has the Hotline Bling dance. He has the Kiki Do You Love Me dance. And he has the Tootsie Slide. Now, we know Drake isn't the dancer Michael Jackson is. But he has dances that people try to emulate. Okay? That Hotline Bling dance has been in, like, I'm pretty sure it's in Fortnite. I don't play Fortnite. But I'm pretty sure it makes it to Fortnite. Now, if you have dances in Fortnite, you know you're doing something right. I'm pretty sure Hotline Bling is in Fortnite. I'm pretty sure the Tootsie Slide will make it to Fortnite. I am pretty sure. Now, don't quote me on this because I don't. Well, I'm quoting myself on this. This is already going to be on the internet. But I don't know. Because I don't play Fortnite. So I don't know if they have the Kiki Do You Love Me dance. But the point is, Drake has familiar dance moves. Michael Jackson, obviously. I know there's a moonwalk in Fortnite. I know there's probably like a kick move or something in Fortnite. Michael Jackson has those dance moves. I say that to bring in the 2 other people that people will put in this discussion after this video drops. People will say, hey, Malcolm, or hey, Joe, what about Beyonce? What about Chris Brown? And Chris Brown and Beyonce, I love them. Great artists. I love both of them. I feel like the situation with Chris Brown, Chris Brown is not, I don't believe he has obviously does not have the global appeal that Drake does. Does not have the universal appeal Drake does. And I don't think he has the level of success that Drake does just in his life. And Chris Brown's an extremely successful artist and an extremely successful person. But we're talking about Drake, and I feel like Drake has ascended to another level. Drake is a rapper who is considered a pop star. But he's a rapper. In my eyes, Drake is a rapper, but he is a pop star. And he's ascended past, just about anybody else in his weight class. I feel like the similarities with Chris Brown are only as far as the dance moves. When you compare Chris Brown to Michael Jackson, you're strictly comparing the dance moves and the on-stage performance, and Chris Brown does that great. But I feel like if you want to compare, their actual careers and what they mean to the culture and their body of work, then I think Drake compares better to Michael Jackson than Chris Brown does. I think Chris Brown's a great dancer. Michael Jackson's a great dancer. And I feel like that's where the similarities sort of end. Great on-stage presence and performers, great dancers, bring a lot of energy. That's it. Beyonce. Beyonce, it's crazy to say something about Beyonce that, you know, that people are going to actually disagree with, but Beyonce is great. She can easily be the female version of Michael Jackson. Like Beyonce probably is the closest thing to Michael Jackson as far as just like the aura that they give off in her presence. But I feel as though Drake is a closer comparison for our generation because for one, Drake has been doing this for a shorter amount of time than Beyonce. Drake has a decade in the game. Beyonce, she's been here since the 90s. She has the 90s, 2000s, 2010s. 3 decades going on 4. Beyonce is great. On the Billboard Hot 100, I feel as though Drake has more iconic hit songs than Beyonce does. That's no shade to Beyonce. Please, Beehive, don't attack me. I'm just saying Drake has more iconic hit songs than Beyonce that will stand the test of time. Beyonce has hits, no question. I feel like Drake has more iconic hits. So on the Billboard Hot 100, the only thing I could find is Beyonce's hit songs from 2017. That was the last thing that was logged that I found. So, I mean, if you could, if you find her more updated stats, please let me know. But Beyonce had 10 number one hits on the Billboard Hot 100 in 2017. Drake has 6. 2017, Beyonce has been in the game for 30 years and has 10 number one hits. Drake has 6 in only 11 years. In a small sample size. This has to count for something. People need to take into account how fast Drake has ascended to the top. He's done a lot in only a decade's worth of time. Now, as far as Grammys go, Beyonce has 21 Grammys, which is a lot. A lot. Drake has only 4 Grammys. Beyonce has 21. Not going to dispute her on that. She's great. I don't think that puts her, but she has more than Michael Jackson also. I don't think that it's a telltale sign as to how great how much she's like Michael Jackson, because the argument is not how great is Beyonce, how great is Drake, how great is Michael Jackson though. My whole thing is Drake is the closest thing to Michael Jackson as far as his appeal. And, Beyonce having 21 Grammys, that's respectable. Michael Jackson having 13 Grammys is respectable. Drake having 4 is respectable. But again, when you go to the hits, when you go to the songs, when you go to the music that's going to stand the test of time, I feel like Drake has songs that are going to stand the test of time. Drake has more iconic, signature looks. Not looks, I'm sorry. Signature dance moves. And I feel like Drake has a more signature style as an artist. Beyonce has, sort of, I don't want to say road trends, but I feel as though Beyonce's music is sort of, I feel like Beyonce looks at a style of music and decides, I'm going to make music like this for now. Like Lemonade for example. I feel like that was a different sort of vibe, but I feel like she saw something um, somewhere and decided, like, let's go in this direction. Previous albums in the past, I feel like her work is a reflection of what she's into, what she's feeling at the moment, and there's nothing wrong with that. I feel as though Drake is more of a trend setter in that regard. I feel like Drake moves the culture forward. I haven't even spoken about how Drake has basically changed the landscape of hip hop, changed the landscape of rap, where rappers can sing their own hooks and you don't need to outsource and get an R&B artist on your hook. Drake has changed that whole narrative, changed that whole game. So, in that regard, um, I feel as though Drake is just more of a trendsetter than Beyonce, the way Michael Jackson was a trendsetter. I feel like those comparisons align. Michael Jackson, when he came out, his look, the music he was making, his style, everything, people tried to copy it. Various artists tried to copy it. All the lead men of R&B groups, Ralph Tresvant from New Edition has been on record saying that he wanted to, emulate Michael Jackson. That was his favorite artist growing up. Many artists have said that. Usher and Chris Brown, obviously, still guys today. Jason Derulo trying to emulate Michael Jackson. And, when we go years down the line, there's going to be artists trying to emulate Drake. There's going to be guys, 30, 40 years from now are going to say, man, Drake was my favorite artist. I always wanted to, or 20 years from now, rather, Drake was my favorite artist. I always wanted to be like him. I want to emulate his style. You might not get guys to say that as often because the rap game is different. Guys don't really give praise like that, but the game might change. Who knows? The game's going in a different direction. But I don't feel that Beyonce has that appeal as far as an artist goes. Artists look up to Beyonce. They praise her. She is great. Beyonce is a phenomenal performer, and probably a way better performer than Drake. Beyonce's probably the best performer since Michael Jackson. And her stage presence is undefeated. So I'm gonna give Beyonce her props. But I just feel like the comparison, all the similarities that I can make with Beyonce, I feel like I can make other ones with Drake that are more powerful to me, that put him aligned with Michael Jackson. And I feel like that's what he's aiming for. He's going for Michael Jackson. I feel like he wants to be that level of superstar. And he's only been in the game for a decade, and I think he's up there. He'll achieve it. I feel like he'll achieve it. If he keeps on going at the rate he's going and the path he's going on, Drake will definitely achieve that level of stardom. But that was the episode for today, guys. And I appreciate everybody for listening in, man. I truly hope that you guys are rocking with me. I hope you guys are enjoying this content. Please give me feedback. Let me know what you want to hear next, what you want me to talk about. I'm here for you guys. As long as there's people listening, as long as there's one person listening, I want to continue speaking. And, I appreciate that. I appreciate, all the love that I'm getting so far. So, but yeah, man, so just leave a comment down below. Let me know who's the closest person to Michael Jackson in your opinion. Is it Beyonce? Is it Drake? Is it Chris Brown? Is it somebody else that I haven't mentioned? Let me know in the comments below, and see y'all next time.